Good morning and welcome to this Masterclass on collaborative specification. My name is Nick Armitt and I'm one of the trainers here at the NBS. And today we're going to be looking how specifiers and manufacturers can work closer together when producing specifications. Quick look at the housekeeping for today's session. The webinar will last approximately 30 minutes. Attendees' microphones are muted, but if you do have any questions, then please use the question box on your screen, and then we'll follow up after the session with answers to those questions for you. So let's take a look at how specifiers and manufacturers can collaborate together by starting off looking at the most simplest form of collaboration, and that is where a specifier is using Chorus to write their spec and a manufacturer has provided pre-written clauses for their products that the specifier can bring into the specification. So we've got the specifier here signing into Chorus. Going straight into their project screen, into their crane house project here, and into their refurbishment specification. And they've got a door set system that they're going to use as part of their spec, and they want to bring in a specific manufacturer. So that specifier goes to the products panel, looks to see what products are available for this door set system that they can use. And in this case, they might have a specific manufacturer they want to use, so they filter down the manufacturers. Let's say that manufacturer is Optima. We've got all Optima's products that can be used in this door system listed here. The specifier can click into these products, read about the actual product. So this is all the information that the manufacturer has put into NBS source and now shows in Chorus to help the specifier be able to choose a product that they want to use. We've even got the clause information here with all the options for this door set system. Wherever there's grey text is where the guidance has been put in by the manufacturer to help the specifier be able to make decisions about what they're going to include. And if the specifier wants to ask any specific questions of the manufacturer, they can just go and click on the Contact Manufacturer button, and it will take them straight to the manufacturer's page in Source. Click on Contact Manufacturer again, brings up a contact box where they can automatically populate their email address. They can put their subject line in, so it might be, in this case, product information, and they want to maybe know a bit further information about this product before they actually add it to their specification. In this case, the specifier is happy with the product. They've already had a conversation with the manufacturer about it and answered the question that they had. So it's as simple as just clicking Add to Spec, and the product is brought into the system in this case. And I can start, or the specifier can start to make the selections they need to make on the product. So in this case, over panels are either not required or over panel and side panel. And these are the options that the manufacturer gives to the specifier for them to choose from. So this is a very basic form of collaboration within Chorus and for writing your specifications between the specifier and the manufacturer. But what happens in situations where the specifier needs more information? Maybe they're working on a bespoke project and they need more precise information around how the product should be installed. In those cases, the specifier might contact the manufacturer directly. Or if they're using NBS Source, they might look through Source to see which product manufacturers supply authoring services through Chorus itself. And in that case, contact those manufacturers directly using the Contact Manufacturer button, or the telephone number of one is provided for that manufacturer. So let's have a look at how a specifier would start to bring a manufacturer into their specification, and how a manufacturer could actually work alongside the specifier in creating a spec. So the specifier and the manufacturer have agreed to work together on writing a specification. The first question that the manufacturer needs to ask of the specifier is what version of Chorus that they've got. If the specifier has only got Chorus, then the manufacturer can write the specification in their version of Chorus and export that as either a Word document or a PDF. And in that case, the specifier would reference out of the correct section of their spec to the manufacturer's specification. If the specifier has Chorus Pro, the manufacturer can share with Word and PDF, but the manufacturer can also share by being invited into the specifier's version of Chorus and writing within the specification that is set up for them. Or the manufacturer can write the specification in their version of Chorus and copy it across into the specifier's version of Chorus. Let's have a look at how we start that process off. So before we start, let me explain what you're looking at here. We have got two instances of Chorus open in two different browsers. On the left hand side, we've got a version of Chorus open in an organization called NBS Training NA. And on the right hand side, we've got a version of Chorus open in the organization NBS Training. And for the purposes of today, the left hand browser is the specifier, the right hand browser is the manufacturer. And we're going to invite the manufacturer into a lakeside restaurant project so that the manufacturer can write the paint section for that. So the specifier, the first thing they would do is click into the lakeside restaurant. And when they click in, you will see that there's two sets of specs here, an architectural specification and a Bob's Paints collaboration specification. The specifier is going to invite the manufacturer into this project and give them access to this Bob's Paints collaboration specification. So the specifier will click on Team Members, click Invite Users, and they will then input in the email address the manufacturer's NBS ID email address. So in this case, we'll just quickly type that in. Next, the specifier has to decide on the permission level. This project has two specifications in it, and the specifier only wants to give the manufacturer access to one. So they would set their project role up as limited. By default, this means that the manufacturer will not see any specifications inside the project. The next step is to give individual permissions to the specifications. So the specification that we want to give access to the manufacturer to is Bob's Paints collaboration specification. The specifier would click on the permission and change it from excluded to contributor. That will enable the manufacturer to then come in and copy a spec across or edit a spec if required. The specifier can add a message on in here. Hi Peter, please can you start work on the paint section. The specifier then clicks send invite, and if you watch the bell on the right hand side, you will see what happens next. So you've seen that bell just ring that indicates that a notification has come across with an invite, and there's a blue circle with the number 1. If the manufacturer then clicks on that, they can see that they've received a project invite for the Lakeside restaurant of NBS Training NA. And they can then select and accept that invite. Gives the manufacturer an option to view the project. In this case, they're not going to do that, they're just going to click through. If the manufacturer just wants to jump across at any point now into that project, the manufacturer just needs to click on their initials or their image that they've got up, click change organisation, and now they have access to NBS Training, which is their organisation, and NBS Training NA, which is the specifiers organisation, so they can quite easily change. At this point, there are 2 different ways that the manufacturer and specifier can collaborate. I'm going to show you both of those. First of all, on the specifier side, I'm going to switch the specifier view back to the specifications, and I'm going to give us a bit more space on the right hand side of the screen with the manufacturer. Now the manufacturer, you can see they've already got a project set up for Lakeside Restaurant, and if we click into that, you can see they've not got a spec in there. At this point, the manufacturer will go into their master, and they would most likely have a master set up that covers for their products. In this case, Bob's Paints Masters. And this Bob's Paints have got 2 masters here. They've got an M60 paint specification, which is cores, and a Uniclass paint specification. And these would be generic master specifications with information about their products in, that enable them to copy them into a project and use them as a starting point. In this case, Bob's Paints are going to use the M60 paint specification. We'll just click into that to show you that it's got some content in there already, and references to Bob's Paints. Okay, so this manufacturer is going to copy this into the project folder they've set up for their client. Now click on the 3 dots, click copy to projects, select the project they're copying it to. They might change the name of this, so it might change it to M60 paint specification, Lakeside Restaurant. Copy that across, and immediately they'll go straight into that project. The manufacturer would then go into the specification master that they've copied and start to bring in the relevant project information, completing the specification off so that it is ready to be copied into the specifiers organisation. At which point, the manufacturer would go back to the content menu for their spec, select all the work sections that they want to copy into the specifiers organisation, and go Control-C or Command-C if you're on a Mac, and it copies the clauses to the clipboard. Go up to their avatar or their initials on the top right hand corner, click change organisation, and switch from their organisation into the specifiers organisation. Once in the specifiers organisation, they will just see the one project they've been invited to. And let's just expand the specifiers browser out a little bit. You can see that specifiers got all these projects showing on the left hand side, and on the right hand side the manufacturer only has a lakeside restaurant. We click on the specifiers avatar, you can see they are in NBS Training NA, and you can see that the manufacturer is in NBS Training NA as well. So both are in the same organisation. The manufacturer clicks into the lakeside restaurant. They see the specification that's been set up for them. The specifier sees both specifications, but because the manufacturer was only given permission to see Bob's Paint's collaboration spec, that's all that they see. They click into the Bob's Paint collaboration spec. There's no contents in there currently. They go Control V or Command V on a Mac. And it pastes their content in. When the manufacturer clicks into the painting and clear finishing section, it's copied the whole section across. And when the specifier now clicks into Bob's Paints and Collaboration specification, the painting and clear finishing M60 section is there. When they click in, they see exactly the same copied across. They see some specification spec notes which tell them that this was copied from NBS Training by the manufacturer. So everything that gets copied across from the manufacturer, a spec note will be put in to say that that has been copied across. So that is how a manufacturer can write a specification in their organisation, copy it across into the specifiers organisation. The other option is that the manufacturer writes the specification in the specifiers organisation. So what I've done here is we've reset Bob's Paint's collaboration specification. This time we've given access to the manufacturer to be able to read the architectural specification. So if there's anything they need to check with relevance to the section that they're writing, they can go into the main spec. For example, we could go in and look at Dorset Systems D here, read any of the relevant information just to guide us in order for us to be able to write the section that we need to do. But when the manufacturer tries to click into any sections, they do not have permission to edit those sections at all. In which case, the manufacturer goes back to the Bob's Paints collaboration spec, clicks into the waterborne paint system that we've got here, and what they can already see is there's some instructions and information that's been put in here by the specifier to guide the manufacturer in the information in the writing of this section. So we've got things like location, refer to design drawings, description, internal proprietary painting system. The manufacturer's name's already been put in under the system manufacturer. Preparation's been left blank here, but if you notice in the top right hand corner in spec notes, we've got two spec notes. And if we click on the spec notes, we can see that we've got one here which is for the whole of the system. It's saying to be used in the kitchen area exposed to high heat. And it's also got another note here which is actually against preparation row, which hasn't been, no information has been put in there. The preparation row is saying the walls are a mix of plasterboard and brick finish, all doors and frames are wood. So it's giving them some information about what the bare material layers are in that kitchen. Initial coats, undercoats and finishing coats, it's been put in italics in bold here, manufacturer's choice, so that the manufacturer will take that out and put the relevant information in there. And in this case, with the initial coats, it might be that the manufacturer just takes the manufacturer's choice out and selects, in this case, well, we know that there's some plasterboard because the notes have already told us, so we need plasterboard primers. And we might need universal primers. So we can bring those clauses in. Undercoats, again, it's a manufacturer's choice. They might choose to bring a waterboard undercoat in. And then finally, the finishing coat. Well, we know that they're going to need a water-based masonry paint because there's brickwork in there, for example. They might also need water-based finishing coats. And they'll just remove the information in the rows that the specifier put in. Save what they've got so far and continue to work their way down, bringing in the relevant manufacturer, bringing in the relevant information around the products that they're specifying for the specifier, and build this system out. Once they're finished, it is just a case of saving. They might also put spec notes in to explain why they made certain choices. So, for example, around the finishing coats here, we've got masonry paints. So they might click into the finishing coats row, click on the 3 dots, add a note to that row, and just put a note in saying masonry paint selected for brickwork. And put that note in as well. And that way, information is flowing between the manufacturer and the specifier. Once the manufacturer has finished that section, change back to their own organisation. Just widen the screen to show the specifier side. Specifier can then go into Bob's collaborative paint section, go and look at the waterborne paints, see all the information that the manufacturer has brought in, but also check the spec notes that have been added as well, and they can see who's added what spec notes. So in this case, we can see which is the manufacturer's spec note, and we can also see which of the specifier's spec notes. Once the specifier is happy with that, the specifier can select all the sections that have been completed by the manufacturer, go Control C or Command C on a Mac to copy them all, go into the main architectural specification. Once in the contents page, go Control V or Command V for a Mac and paste that into the main part of the specification. Now, it might be that instead of doing that, the specifier decides just to produce that as 2 separate documents and reference out from the main specification into it. The thing with Chorus for both manufacturers and for specifiers is it gives a lot of flexibility in the way that it works, so that you can make it fit the way that you want to work as a manufacturer or as a specifier. For specifiers, what we've shown you here today can also be used if you are using consultants. You can bring them into your organisation in the same way as we've just shown you how to do with a manufacturer, and they can then write sections of specification in the organisation, or if they have their own version of Chorus, they can copy those sections across in as well. Chorus is a very flexible platform in the way that it works. It can help you work closer with each other, help you get more detailed specifications, especially around those bespoke jobs where a manufacturer's insight to their product and how it reacts in certain situations is more than invaluable to the specifier. Now, just a couple of other things. When you invite somebody into your organization specifiers, the person that you invite in will use one of your licenses or one of your seats. Okay. Just something to be aware of. In that case, if you don't have a lot of seats, it might be a case that you get the manufacturer to write the specification in their organization and then just quickly copy that across so that they're only using the seat for a short period of time. Just something to be aware of when you're writing those specifications. Okay, so you looked at 3 different methods there. The first method of collaboration was using NBS Source and taking the manufacturer's information by the specifier into their spec. The second way we looked at was the manufacturer writing a specification in their own organization, being invited into the specifier's organization and into the relevant project and copying that information, the specification across using Control-C and Control-V. The second method third method I should say that we looked at was where the manufacturer is invited directly into the organization, but instead of copying across to the project, they actually write their section of the spec with inside the project of the specifier, and the specifier is preset up the specification with guidance in there for the manufacturer explaining the situation and performance required of the actual product. If you want to get further information around collaboration, please have a look in the help section of NBS Chorus. We've got lots of support articles that covers all different areas of the platform. You can search at the top here for information, but you can see here we've got collaboration on projects and project team members here, so there's lots of information for you to see. We have also got learning modules section. We'll just give that 1 second. We've got sections on collaboration there, which you can watch through. Several videos within that module that cover different aspects of collaboration that could be helpful. If you want to go into this in more detail further, we do as an organization offer training, and I will just quickly show you where you can find that on the NBS website. On the NBS website, if you go into support and then NBS Academy, you can see all the training that we offer as an organization. The training has changed recently. Previously we trained by the version of Chorus you're on, whether you're on Chorus or Chorus Pro. We've changed this now to individual's ability, starting off at bronze, silver and gold, depending on the ability of those people being trained. We also offer paper delegate sessions, so if there is just one person in your organization that needs training, you can get them onto a paper delegate session. Thank you everybody for your time today. I hope that you have all found this useful. As I said earlier, any questions you're put into the question box, I will pick them up after this session and come back to you all with answers to those. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully I'll speak to you all again soon. Thank you.